extended an invitation to Russian President Vladimir Putin to join his board of peace as well. Major General G.G. Dwivedi, let me come to you. Sergei Lavrov has said that Greenland is not a natural part of Denmark. NATO is going through their period of challenges. And in the same breath, they've also said that we don't want to interfere as far as their own internal affairs are concerned. What do you make of it?
Well, the point is, if you see the geographic contiguity, I think Greenland is more geographically close to Denmark than possibly to America. But then the national interests these days do not follow any geographic boundaries. They transcend the geographic boundaries. And American national interest basically today, well, on the face of it, they say it is confined to the Western Hemisphere. But otherwise, American interests are quite global even today. Second point is that President Trump, I think, is the most pro-Russia president. And he definitely has, I think, not only given caution, but rather given a, kind of a direction to Europe to mend its relation with Russia. And also, the NATO has failed in its objective as far as Ukraine war is concerned. So I don't think President Trump sees Russia as a major challenge because his inclination to President Putin. But as far as China is concerned, yes, in his national security strategy, President Trump has stated that they will not like to have a conflict with China, but at the same time, they do not want China to be a dominating force in the Indo-Pacific. And he wants to maintain trade relation with China, fully knowing that the kind of intertwining or the kind of engagement China has with America, they cannot decouple or even de-risk. So at the end of it, what I'm trying to say is that President Trump policies are at times, they are loggerhead with each other, while President Trump still wants to dominate the world, but he is seeking certain geographic adjustment. And this, Ambassador Sergei's, statement that Greenland is not naturally, part of Denmark. Well, the point is that on what basis do you decide what is part of one nation or what is not part of the other nation? It is the geography per se, but then the national interests always clash with the geography. And when we decide a particular location or a particular setting of a geographic region, both history and geography come into play. So I think America had deep interest during the Cold War, and they want to revive that. They are now finding some kind of a pretext or a excuse to grab Greenland, and more so, I think, more of strategic interest than the resources per se. But the point is, you can play with this statement whichever way you like, and geography and history can be twisted because after all the lines are drawn by the human beings. Where they draw the lines depends upon which power is drawing the line, and it is always the people who are strong or the nations which are strong which draw the lines, and then they ensure the lines are legalized and legislated.
You're absolutely right, sir. Let's put out some more breaking news that we're flashing. We're going to start flashing it on your screens. Denmark Economy Minister has spoken on the recent developments from US side and has cleared that the nation will try to hold dialogue with President Trump so as to de-escalate the situation related to Greenland. Denmark Economy Minister has made it clear that while talks will be held, no negotiations will be made in favor of the US interest to purchase. In fact, Denmark Economy Minister has also said that if it keeps escalating, there will need to be a European answer at some point as well. Mr. Arvind Singh Tejawat, I want to understand from you, from a very realistic point of view, will Denmark be able to hold its ground?
I doubt. The reason behind it that if the United States wants to occupy the Greenland in one day, then it's possible, because the Denmark is not in a capacity to confront with the United States, and even the whole Europe unitedly cannot conquer or cannot fight with the United States, because now, means recently from last year only, the Europe started spending on their defense. Otherwise, the Europe's security was totally dependent on a United States. So I don't think that the Denmark single-handedly capable enough to oppose the United States. So it's only means now that's the Donald Trump is playing a drama, and basically the Greenland is the semi-autonomous is having a semi-autonomous status. So first they wanted to go for the referendum, and so since the United States claims that he represents the democratic values all the time, so if he'll capture the somewhere, he's not following his own principles. So that's why he's trying to move one by one. But at the end of the day, I think that there will be a deal will be signed, and maybe they will go for a lease for the 100 years, maybe something like that. But this is the truth that in coming days, the United States will definitely occupy that land, which called the Greenland.
Okay.
Over to you.
All right, some more breaking news coming in. Let's flash that on our screens. Amid a deepening transatlantic political row, a senior UK minister, Darren Jones, has said that Donald Trump's plan to have Vladimir Putin as a member in his Gaza Board of Peace is absurd. Darren Jones has hit out after the Kremlin said Russian warmonger had been asked by the US president to join the body intended to supervise the next phase of peace in the Middle East. Remember, Moscow said Putin had received the invitation from the Kremlin and in fact is studying the details and will seek clarity on all the nuances in contacts with the US. Since I already have an understanding on Major General Gigi Dwivedi's thoughts as far as Russia is concerned, let me come to Mr. Arvind Singh Tejawat. Now, of course, the UK putting out statements with regards to the invitation being received by the Russian president, and he's termed it as absurd. How exactly do you view it? Do you think it was something that was not essentially, how do I put it? It was not something essentially that others in other nations would have thought could have happened?
Means can you make it clear again? Means,
so of course there's a statement that has been given by a senior UK minister where he says that having to ask Vladimir Putin to be a part of the Board of Peace for Gaza is absurd. What exactly do you make of it? Do you too, or does the world also in some shape, way or form think that there's some absurdity as far as extending this invitation is concerned?
Right. I think that the US minister, the UK minister is absolutely right, because there is a big clashes on a world level. There are two different interests. One represent the past communist, the communist countries like China and Russia. And these countries are having a different interest in compared to the Euro-American countries. So if Donald Trump is inviting the Russian president to be the part of that peace plan, then it's not practical enough. Because the earlier, if we look into the Syria, then even they were having a different interest. The earlier president, Bashar al-Assad, was a Russian supported president at that moment. And that's why the United States changed the regime. Here, even in Gaza and in the issue of the Palestine and the Israel, the Russian and the United States, when I'm saying the United States, does it mean the Euro-American countries are having a totally different interest in compared to the China, even in Iran. So I think that what the UK minister is saying is absolutely right. It's totally absurd if the United States leadership or the President Trump is invited, President Putin to be the part of that peace plan. They call it peace plan, but basically it's a planning of making another colony of Israel over there.
All right, absolutely. Let's put